let's play Nico House talking about Cornel West. And this is about an article, and it was titled, Cornel West is too big a risk for AOC, or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And she basically is saying this is too big of a risk right now, and Cornel West needs to pull back. So let's listen to the video.
Although AOC agrees with much of what Cornel West has advocated for in the past, she still thinks his candidacy is too big of a risk for the Democratic Party. Now, AOC even goes on to commend his service, his lifelong service, right before she then says that given the Electoral College and the real risk of a Republican presidency, because that would be so much different than Joe Biden's, right, that Cornel West's run would just be too risky. But just fuck democracy, huh? Now, one would think that because AOC and Cornel West both worked on Bernie Sanders' campaign, because that campaign supposedly represented both of their ideologies, that she would get behind him, or at the bare minimum, not undermine his campaign. But stabbing her political allies in the back is kind of AOC's MO, so I'm not really all that surprised. But why is she more concerned with the Biden win than advocating for progressive policy through conversations that are started by candidates like Dr. West, despite AOC knowing the fact that Biden has zero intentions on passing a single progressive policy, and in fact, even lied about the policy he said he would pass to earn her endorsement the first go around. In case she forgot, like, what's the point of fearing a Republican president if you're going to get neocon policies anyway with no resistance with Biden? The truth is, AOC and the Democrats attack independent left-leaning candidates like Dr. West because those candidates are a mirror to how fickle and superficial the promise of the Democratic Party actually is. And those candidates do that by running left to the Democrats and then daring the Democrats to be who they claim they are. And Democrats are, of course, worried that when people figure out that they aren't who they claim they are, they'll lose votes. Of course they will. So it's easier to attack, defame, and smear other candidates and people than to actually pass the policies that they claim they want to pass for the people.
So yeah, that was Nico House. Shout out Nico House. And then I guess I could bring up the accompanying article that you see in the background there to read a little bit on it. So let's read it, and it's from Newsweek. Here we go. All right, so let's read a little bit on it. Since his announcement of a 2024 presidential bid in June, supporters of a third-party candidate, Cornel West, have framed his long shot campaign as a historic opportunity to elevate progressive ideas they felt establishment figures like President Joe Biden have long ignored. However, even close allies like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are appearing reluctant to step behind him, saying the temptation of a left-wing challenge to Biden is not worth the risk of a second Donald Trump presidency. Speaking to The Hill, so I believe the original article was on The Hill. Speaking to The Hill over the weekend, the progressive New York congresswoman and close philosophical ally of West expressed reservations about his campaign after a recent decision to change his affiliation to the Green Party, a reprise of former candidate Jill Stein's ill-fated run for the president in 2016 that helped Trump win the White House. Now, of course, all of this phrasing that they're giving, make it like Trump help Trump win the White House, is ridiculous. And this is a corporate outlet, so let's make sure we keep that in mind. They must stay in the framing of the approved Overton window of the red-blue game. Quote, this is AOC. I think he has a very long record of service and academic thought leadership, end quote. AOC said of West, and she went on to say, quote, I think just right now, given the Electoral College, it's difficult to square the very real threat of a Republican presidency with the risk of giving up the very small margins of electoral votes needed to ensure that President Biden wins, end quote. It is a full-blown Democratic shield not a left wing. She is squarely part of the establishment, and she is out. Just think, just 4 years ago, or coming up on 4 years ago, she was out stumping for Bernie Sanders, and now she's refusing to stomp for Cornel West, and instead is already put her weight behind the corporate clown Jim Crow Joe. I'll read a little more and then we'll close out here. While West, an academic and philosopher with no experience in elected office, has always been considered a long shot, his candidacy comes amid a highly polarized electoral environment in which experts say a third party, who are experts, and how can you be an expert in this? Canada should draw a sizable share of the independent vote, denying Democrats the swing votes they have traditionally needed to win. The environment is so fraught that the group like Third Way, a center-left, they're not center-left, think tank that has pushed for both parties to return to ideological middle, have criticized efforts by other groups like No Labels to promote a third-party effort for the presidency, arguing that any additional candidates in the race would serve only as a spoiler to benefit Trump's benefit, I should say. So there you have AOC out stumping for Democrats, and proudly has taken on the role of establishment leader in this sort of narrative that we're playing.